Good afternoon. Today's date is June 11th. The time is 5:50, and I call this board workshop to order. On the agenda, we have the 2018-2019 budget, and since it's not a regular meeting, we do not have to have a quorum or take roll of our members. So, Dr. Canales?
Board of Trustees, this is our second budget workshop. Mr. Andres Sanchez will be taking the lead on walking us through the proposed budget for the 2018-2019 academic school year. Mr. Sanchez.
Mr. Lopez, Dr. Canales, members of the board, this is our second budget workshop for the fiscal year 2018-2019. There's a few changes on the presentation compared to what I presented last month, and I'll go over the changes that I have. On the first page, first bullet, we still have the budget at a preliminary state. We're still going over it, make sure we have everything correct, expenditures, revenues. We're still checking. We did make some revisions from what I presented last time on the numbers. The values are still preliminary. And the last two bullets on the bottom in red. On Thursday, we were notified by TEA that planning amounts, basically we're looking at budget for next year. On the Title I regular, or Title I Part A, and Title III Part A, which is the bilingual federal funds, we're looking at combined about $390,000 of decrease or cut from our funding. So we're going to have to look at those budgets on our needs. Most of them are payroll. So it's payroll and other needs that we have to evaluate them as we go along in preparation for the budget. On the next bullet, we have the information on the ADA. We had mentioned last time that we were budgeting $15,905 ADA, which is the same number of actual ADA for the school year 2017-2018, 17-18. That is a lot less than what we budgeted last time. And we're going to try to increase our ADA, working with the schools to promote enrollment. The board has approved several initiatives that will help us with that. So we're looking forward to increasing our ADA. We hope we can increase it good. On the next line is talking about the property values. Again, they're preliminary. They haven't changed. We're still looking at $2,413,141,290 as presented by the appraisal district. And we'll be receiving the certified values on July 25th. We'll make a revision to the budget as we need once we get them. Tax rates are still the same. Total $115.97. The MNR rate is $113.97. And the INS rate is 2 pennies. Our tax collections, we budget always conservative to make sure that we don't overdo it and collect less than we plan. We budget 91%. We're looking already for this year to collect more taxes than we budgeted, so that will help us, like I mentioned before, with the shortfall we had on ADA. So we're following the same pattern, being conservative with the budget. Pay raises are listed on page 8. On the next page, schools get an allowance based on the ADA for the prior school year. Elementary schools have $120, middle schools $135, and high schools $200. These allocations are better than most of the school districts in the valley. The next bullet mentions the money allocated to schools for the band, orchestra, mariachi, and choir. They're listed there. They're the same. We have money allocated for fine arts. Now that we're trying to promote more the fine arts, we have allocation. We work with Mr. Bissett, and we set him up in the budget as well. Health insurance, we discussed that we wanted to propose an increase of $15 from last year's $470 per employee amount. So we're looking at $485 per employee. And right now, based on the claim that we had through April, we're looking at perhaps breaking even. We're not sure. As we get through, perhaps through June and July, we'll have better information on that.
Andres?
Yes, sir.
Question real quick on this one. So the $15 increase, that's coming from the district, correct?
This is the district, yes.
So
The
not-
district budget.
Not
portion.
anything from the staff members yet?
No, it's not mentioned here, but we're looking at an increase on that too. A small increase as well.
Okay.
Yes. It was mentioned in the update.
Okay.
On page 6, in the top, $1 million raised by the 2 pennies in the INS taxes that will be saved by not transferring money to the debt service fund has already been used in the preparation of this budget. So there's no extra money allocate to anything else. It's already included in what we have. We had discussed hiring 6 resource officers for the district to help with safety and security of students and staff. That would cost $285,000 approximately. We have not allocated it yet. We're hoping that as we go through the budget, that we're able to include it, but as of now, it's not included yet. We have not allocated any transfer to the construction fund for facility projects. It's not included yet, and we might not be able to. We'll see at the end of the year. The fourth bullet, I mentioned before, conservatively, administration estimates that with the additional tax collections higher than budgeted, not spending on some contingency fund that we had, to make up for the loss of state revenues, that we'll break even, perhaps. I have mentioned that we'll break even. We're looking at today, a report that we had done. We might have a $2 million surplus at the end of the year after all. So we're still working on it. Hopefully it can go up, and until the year goes through, probably it's August, we'll find out a better figure. But right now, it looks like we might have $2 million surplus after all, even though we have a shortfall in ADA because increases in tax collections, some contingencies, and some other items that we had included in there.
Is that including the 500,000 that we put into the reserve,
Yes, yes, sir.
top of that?
Yeah, yes. So the next section, I have mentioned that if we had funds, the first 500,000 will allocate him to the undesignated unassigned fund balance to make it 18 million. And anything extra, we'll put it in the fund balance assigned for facilities or other needs, so that we can,
So we can all be clear.
yes, sir.
What is the recommended amount that we're supposed to have in the fund balance?
2 to 3 months. It's best to have 3 months, but they say between 2 and 3 months of operating operations.
And how
basically.
much would that be for us?
Right now, well, how much? A lot of money, like 45 million.
45 million?
Well,
No,
no.
Just 3 months surplus.
36
11
million,
How much?
but 36 million.
It's probably less. Check on it.
Yeah, the 3 months, the 3
For 3
months.
months.
Could you confirm that,
Yeah.
that amount?
Sure, yeah, I'll put on the update,
Yeah.
so you have.
Yeah, could be.
On the last bullet, I had mentioned, and that hasn't changed, the board has been vested and committed to improving facilities in the district. And we have approved a total of 38 million facilities throughout the district, beginning on the end of last school year through now. And of those 38 million, we used 19.5 million between fund balance assigned for facilities or other needs and the local construction fund. And we borrow 18.5 million for facilities, including the scoreboard project. So being that we're so tight with that, we need to be frugal with how we spend the money. So we're trying to do that in purchasing in our side when we're looking at getting quotes and things like that. Make sure that we're getting what we need, not just spending money because we have it. The budget, last time I had mentioned that the budget was, had a 353,000, 322,000 surplus. Right now, the budget, the way we have it, is balanced. We use the money, like I said, for some additional increases, additional and revenues, as well as, decreases in revenues and increases in expenditures. So the money that we had, we used it, the balanced budget, and we included 3 vacancies, and they're listed there. Mariachi teacher at East High School, science teacher at East High School, and a theater arts teacher at Cuellar Middle School. We also have an additional list of vacancies, about $2.2 million, that is not included in the budget. Some positions that we need. We're working on prioritizing, so we finalize the budget to see which one we can add, so we can put those first. And we'll be working with that, and we'll keep you informed on that.
So I'm assuming that Weslaco High School already has a mariachi teacher?
Excuse me?
Weslaco High School already has a mariachi teacher in
Yes,
place?
yeah, they do.
Okay, okay.
On the next page, on the pay raises, we have the same information that we had last time. We had looked at options of how we could do some changes, but there's some, again, different issues with making changes on the pay raises. So we really would like to have, perhaps, if there's a chance to do a special meeting for grievances or something like that, that we can have a budget workshop, so we can board give a direction as to exactly what to look at, so we can concentrate just on that to figure it out. Because there's chances to do pay raises or just like a stipend amount, flat amount for everybody. The different considerations, I would like to be able to get your instructions, check it, and run it. Like a lot of the time we check things with TASB, because they're the ones that help us with board policy and pay raises. They do surveys to school districts through the valley and to the state to make sure we present good information to the board. So right now, we still have the same information from last time. The budget as prepared reflects pay raises for teachers of $1,200, a 2% pay raise for paraprofessionals at the midpoint, and 3% for paraprofessional staff, as well as technical trades and minor trade staff from the midpoint. And that reflects a total of $2,713,709. And this is the total amount for all pay raises for general fund employees, which is local maintenance, food service, take camp, those, as well as federal programs in here. The next page is a statement that we need to make, that state compensatory budget includes enough funds to provide for accelerated instruction of students that are at risk of dropping out of school. On the interest and sinking fund or debt service fund, we made a couple of revisions in here. We got some additional funds this year. So we're looking at having at the end of this year, $2,087,380. And then the additional amount didn't change, but except for the transfer. Last time I had told you that we wouldn't transfer for the local maintenance fund $1.5 million to the INS fund. Now we only need to transfer $900,000. So we got some additional funds from TA related to IFA and EDA from calculations they do on their underutilized tax collection that they do when they do the formulas. Usually it takes TDA a year, 2 years to figure those numbers, and we got information or calculations based on the 2016-17 year. The 17-18, any money that we might be entitled to, we'll get them till next year probably.
So you said 900,000?
Yes, we're
Yes,
only going to
enough.
transfer 900,000 instead of 1.5 million.
Okay.
Yes.
Good, okay.
So this budget, we're looking at the end of next year, August 31, 2019, that the ANS fund will have about $220,000 left in the fund balance of the debt service fund. The next slide shows the ADA information that I have presented before, which had the information on prior years, the budgeted, the actual, and indicating that for the current year, the actual was $15,905 in red, and then in purple, that we're projecting budgeting $15,905. We're really shooting for getting a higher ADA, but we're trying to budget conservative to make sure that any extra that we collect is additional funds for us.
If we get more ADA, do we collect that money during the next fiscal year, or
We'll get it till
until the
next,
end?
well, we'll get it till next year, but it'll be part of the year, 18-19. But we won't know until the end of the year.
Right, right.
Will the preschool still be half ADA
Preschool, yes, sir. Preschool,
or pre-K
yes,
4?
half ADA, yes.
It's still half ADA?
That's it. The next slide is student peak enrollment. For the 2017-2018 school year, we had 17,446 peak enrollment for the district. For the 18-19 year, we're looking at slightly higher at 17,491. Again, being conservative, but we are reaching out for a higher number of students. And the last slide here is the tax rate, which hasn't changed in a long time. For 17-18, we raised it 2 pennies. The board approved it, and we're proposing to have the same rate of $115.97 for the next year. The next slide here is the summary, which you cannot read from a distance, but you can see the page there. This is the one that shows the numbers on the top section of the chart, which is about over here. It has a zero. That shows there is a balanced budget. Last time I had 300 and some thousand. That was the money that was left, additional revenues over expenditures. But now it's showing a balanced budget. The state camp, high school allotment, as well as the federal funds, they're still working on their numbers. And they're still not sure to what they're going to put, because everything they do depends on the pay raises. Whatever is approved, whatever left is for the budget. So right now they're going with the allocation we have to set that amount. So some of the amounts are not allocated yet, but we're working on those numbers with them. Does the board have any questions?
Andres,
Yes, sir.
What's 163?
Say that again?
I don't remember the 163. What is,
State special ed,
and 191?
athletics.
Yeah, okay.
Board Joe has.
How does our ADA compare to our neighboring school districts?
Well, as far as like the problem that we're having,
Well, no, I'm talking about percentages. Are we percentage-wise higher in
we have
absences than they are? Are we in the middle, or?
I wouldn't be able to tell you about the absences, but I know they do have the same problems. Spoke to the CFO at Harlingen, and they're also like us. We were discussing, they had the same problem with the ADA. A couple of $1 million short as well on the revenues. I know McAllen had a similar problem. Edinburgh, Brownsville had a bigger, because Brownsville was a bigger school. The deficit on ADA is a lot bigger than ours.
Dr. Canales, could you have somebody get that information?
And we can look at the other districts and get ADA, what we can get. I've been talking to, like, he talked to the CFOs, to some of the superintendents, the ones that he mentioned, they too are struggling with ADA, particularly this year. Some of the smaller districts that I talked to claim that their ADA is up, but they're small, they're not our size. So we can look at get information provided in a future board update for what we can get. I don't know if we can get direct, I'm looking at for one, if we can get solid percentages from the different districts right now. We might have to just call and say, what is your ADA? For previous years, but not for current year.
We can try doing a survey with
Yeah, maybe
the
do
Region
a
1.
survey through Region 1. Region 1 usually helps us with requests.
And the reason I say is that if somebody has a way of getting their students in, reach out to them and see
Find out
what
what
are
they
they
do.
doing? What ideas do they have, or what techniques, or what are they doing to bring their students in?
Okay.
That's all it is, because we've got 17,900 enrolled, or
400.
400?
400.
And yet our ADA is at 15,000. So there's like, 2,000 students missing?
Short.
We just need to get them in to class. So, if we're struggling and other people are doing in the same boat, we need to find what they're doing, or doing better than we are. Find out what they're doing so we can do it.
For the other districts.
Okay.
When your next meeting
Anybody
is.
else?
I don't know if Dr. Rivera had anything to add. This is a workshop, so the public is invited to, as long as you want to talk about budget, now's the time. It's open to anybody in the public.
And Andres, you said that you were going to recommend a special workshop for the pay raises, so we can kind of
So we
discuss
can,
that?
you can give us some guidance to some items to look at, we can work on it.
Okay.
Just make sure whenever we do that you have other districts' pays scale compared to ours to see where we're at.
Okay.
And then I know that on the chart, you have basically over $1,000 for every pay raise. But I think we also need to look at maybe $750, something, to where we can afford. We can look at those options as well.
I'll say it again, anybody in the public want to make a comment or has a question? Now would be the time, if it, in regards to the school budget for the upcoming year. Board members, any further comments, questions? Okay. There being none, the time is
Announce it. Anybody want to do this? Nobody has signed up.
The time is 6:10 and this workshop is closed. What did you have? For, the time is 6:26. Today's date is June 11, 2018, and I call this regular board meeting of the Weslaco Independent School District to order. Item number 2, establishment of a quorum. Let the record reflect that we have a full board, full and quorum. Item number 3, opening prayer. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, we have Mr. Elias Trevino, who will be delivering the invocation.
If you would be so kind to bow your heads, let's pray. Father, we honor and thank you, and we come before your throne of glory, giving you honor and praise for your goodness, your mercy, your everlasting kindness, the love and mercy that you show us each and every day, Lord, even though we may fail you, and we do fail you, Lord, in our words and thoughts and actions, but you continue to be faithful. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to complete another academic year. Although we faced our challenges, we had great victories, and for that we are thankful. Father, we ask you in your precious name to continue to give our board, our superintendent, each and every one of us wisdom, guidance, and direction, Lord, to make decisions that honor you. Give them the strength, give them the courage to be able to make those tough decisions, Lord God, even though it may not be popular, but it is founded upon integrity. Father, we just ask you also for our students and our staff that are enjoying vacation right now. We ask you, Lord, that your hand may be upon them. Lord, we ask you to bind any harm that may try to come against them, whether physical, spiritual, mental, psychological, that they may be able to return safely back to a new year. We also ask you, Lord, for our Weslaco High School band that is traveling to Florida. We ask you that your hand of protection be upon them, and as they travel that way, that you will bring them home safely. Father, we'll be careful to give you all the glory and the honor, because it's not about us, it's all about you, so that your name may be praised in all things. In the name of Jesus, we ask all things. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Yes. Item number 4, the Pledge of Allegiance, Texas Pledge. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, our athletic director, Mr. Oscar Riojas, will deliver the pledge.
Stand up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Coach. Good job. Item number 6 is public comments, and nobody signed up for that. Item number 7, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Canales. Oh, sorry, I jumped too fast. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm sorry, I missed awards and recognitions.
We have a few awards and recognitions that we're proud of, and Mr. Robledo will run us through those.
All right. Well, tonight, we'd like to recognize some students with a destination imagination. Okay. How about if they come up front, please, as we recognize them? So tonight we want to recognize several Weslaco High School students who recently returned from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville after competing in the Destination Imagination Global Finals. Our students represented Weslaco ISD, the state of Texas, and the country during this international competition. Our students won first place at the regional tournament, qualifying for state. Only the top 6 teams at the Destination Imagination State Tournament moved on to the global finals. In the scientific category, teams were asked to create an attraction such as a theme park, and students were required to integrate science into their solution. Our team chose Mount Rushmore, and the attraction was a fun house dedicated to preserving our country's history. Students mostly used salvaged materials to create their solution. Now, I'm going to name the team members. Some of them aren't here because they're on that band trip or they're at another event. So I'd like to recognize those names, and if I say your name, if you can please step forward so you can be recognized. Ariel Durham is not here. Ian Amaya. Ian, congratulations. Noah Madrigal, he's not here. He's on the band trip. Avery Garcia is also on the band trip, and so is Ryan Rivera. Donathan Solis, here? No? Victoria Garcia. Okay. Well, let's move on to the fine arts category, where students were required to create a two-skit musical that included technical set changes using STEM. Our students chose to make a skit on how Mother Nature came to be. Our team mostly used salvaged materials to create their solution. Team members are, now these first four names I'm going to say, they're all on the band trip. Celeste Vasquez, Angelita Peacock, Ashley Munoz, and Gabriela Saenz. Jarrett Garcia, is he here? No? Emmanuel Lopez and Alexis Gomez. Well, congratulations to them. Now we have the improv category. Students were required to research 12 civilizations and pick a cultural treasure important to each civilization, and to research 12 explorers. Their challenge was to create a skit that showcased a quest to find and return the lost cultural treasure to one of their civilizations. In addition, the treasure must be found in an unusual location, and the team must overcome an obstacle. Students were given 2 minutes to plan and 5 minutes for their performance. Students participating in the Fine Arts Challenge were Clarissa de la Garza, Claire, Brooklyn Craig, Aaron Cardenas, Ashley Sanchez, and two individuals who aren't here, Miranda Rios and Sebastian Hernandez. Congratulations, students. Good job.
Congratulations.
Up next, we would like to recognize some FCCLA students. Oh, parents, yes. If their parents are here, can they please stand and be recognized? Destination Imagination parents, please stand. All right. The sponsors here. Ms. Madrigal, if you're here, can you please stand and be recognized? Okay, up next, we would like to recognize some FCCLA students. If they're here, can they please step forward? And their sponsor, well. Y'all want to come up? Martin? Okay. All right. So the National Recreation and Parks Association and the Walt Disney Company teamed up to celebrate Earth Month by helping fund local park improvement projects in the U.S. Throughout Earth Month, in April, the public cast their votes and nominations to determine which city would receive the funding for park improvement projects that connect kids to nature, inspire healthy living, and provide access to sports. Voters could nominate a city anywhere in the United States and to be entered for the chance to receive a $20,000 grant to support the local park with that community. And we're happy to announce that the city of Weslaco won one of the grants through the efforts of the Weslaco High School Family Career and Community Leaders of America. Congratulations. Here we have a couple of our students, Brianna Miranda. Congratulations. And we also have Dominic Frere. Not with us here today is Annette Garcia. Now, these students organized a campaign for Weslaco High School and the community to vote by nominating our city and then voting daily. Because of their efforts, the community of Weslaco received the most votes in the nation and secured the $20,000 for Gibson Park. Weslaco High School is leading the way by giving back to the community through the Adopt a Park program for Gibson Park. Mary Martin is the FCCLA sponsor. Mrs. Carranza is also their FCCLA sponsor. Congratulations. If the parents are here of the two students, can they please stand and be recognized, parents? Thank you very much and congratulations. Thank you for the money.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good work.
All right, we have one more special recognition. So, Ms. Erica, you want to stand up here and help me out here with some plaques? Tonight, we want to recognize several individuals and organizations that have worked with the Parental Involvement Department this year. This is a small token of appreciation for the services they have provided for our students. Dentists Who Care provided dental care for our uninsured students. Students were able to take care of cavities and preventative oral care at no cost to parents. Through their work, our students received $185,000 worth of dental service since this past November. So we do have a representative here from Dentists Who Care. Thank you very much. We certainly do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay, we have a few more plaques to give out. The Methodist Healthcare Ministries were instrumental in bringing the dental mobile units to Weslaco and Weslaco ISD. Omar Chavez was our contact, and we thank him for all of his work with this project. Is Mr. Chavez here today? He is?
Brian's gonna have to get braces. Brian.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Chavez.
Thank you.
We'd also like to recognize In His Steps Shoe Bank, and they have provided our students with footwear since 1996. This year, 425 pairs of shoes were distributed to our students. This organization has contributed over 9,000 pairs of shoes. They continue to help our students through the summer and will provide footwear for our migrant students in time for their trip to Washington, D.C. In His Steps Shoe Bank. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Carlos. What's your name? Carlos. What's your name? Okay, we have Marguerite Wigan here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wigan.
Mrs. Wright. Elizabeth Pastor Wright.
Thank you.
We would also like to recognize Weslaco First United Methodist Church for allowing the Dentists Who Care to utilize the parking lot for the mobile unit and for our parents and students.
Actually, Gilbert and
Come
Alma,
up here and say.
Gilbert Tagle and Alma Arevalo are a couple in our church. They're really the ones who have helped to step up and make that function with the registration and the checking in that also happens when Dentists Who Care come. And also our children's person, Isabel Salinas, who has stepped up to make sure that when you have children who need care or you need to care yourself, that there's somewhere for your children to be safe and have fun and play. So I would say that this is about Gilbert and Alma and Isabel, who have really done the work for First UMC on that front. So thank you for them.
Thank you.
A big thank you.
We would also like to recognize tonight In His Image Uniform Bank, who also provided 250 uniform vouchers for our students this year. This is a new service for our district through the Crossroads Community Church. Students were able to select their uniforms from Dickies here in Weslaco.
Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And also tonight, we have one more. Also tonight, we want to recognize our parent volunteers. Diana Aguilar was named the district's top volunteer of the year, contributing 1,180 hours of her time to our schools. And also, we thank her tonight for her devotion to our students. Diana Aguilera.
Andres, how many days is that? If we divide by 8. Huh?
I can just say a few words. All our different entities, they never tell me no. Like I mentioned, our shoe bank, our migrant students are going to Washington, so when I called it, I was like, our students are in need. Erica, no problem, please give them a voucher. The same thing with our uniforms. The same thing with dentists who care. They never say no to us. They provided free dental work of all sorts to all our WIS, or our uninsured WISD students. And it doesn't just stop there. If the student needs more, they refer them to an orthodontist. We had a student who got free braces, and so she wasn't able to chew her food correctly. Now she's able to. So I thank y'all from the bottom of our hearts in WISD.
On behalf of the board and our superintendent, we thank you all for giving so much of yourselves, of your time, and gifting our students, something that's very valuable to them. Very, very valuable to them and also to us. And maybe putting a smile on their face and making them feel better about themselves a little bit. And we know that God will bless you all for giving, and we thank you. Thank you so much. Now moving on to number 7, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, we have 3 items for this section, and I'm going to begin on the slide, and I also have handouts for you up here. The first thing are the superintendent goals, which are the district goals. Just a couple of things. We adopted 5 goals last year in May 2017 as part of our district advisory committee, which Mrs. Janie Peña helps to lead every month. We went ahead and shared the goals with the district advisory committee and asked them for feedback on anything that had to be changed this year based upon what we experienced as a team. We also asked our principals on June 5th, 2018. We took feedback from people. As you can see, we still have our 5 major goals. I'd like to highlight some changes. First of all, in the spirit of continuous improvement, we decided, based upon the recommendations, to make recommendations to you to change some of the language under each goal. So number 1 stays the same, student success with the literacy focus. However, we want to add the words high quality, engaging, and innovative programs that develop college, career, and service-ready leaders. We're about the complete educational program at Weslaco ISD. We're about preparation for life, not just a score on an exam. So we wanted to powerfully state that as part of that. The second one is engaging learning environments. We used to have positive learning environments. We want people involved in the learning process at all time. So to this one, in the little description, we added drug-free. That's important to our community. We heard it at the parent meetings. We heard it from our board. We heard it from others. So we added the word drug-free before technology-rich, and we wanted inviting because we believe we are trying to create environments where kids and where staff are feeling known, valued, and inspired. So inviting was important to us. And then we changed the end. We want to promote high performance, including intellectual curiosity and everything else, but high performance. That's why we have that one. For the third one, it's kind of long. It stayed the same. Parent, community, business, industry. What did change instead of relations, the teams felt powerful that it's about partnerships, just like we saw earlier today, people coming together to support our goals for children. So we added partnerships there. Instead of superior community service, it's about exceptional community, not customer service, because we're one team and we should be providing service to each other as a broad community. We wanted open communication instead of positive communication because we believe in the power of voices and the two-way communication. So we added open communication and positive collaboration. And then again, for student success. For Goal 4, professional growth, leadership development, we had capacity building. The feedback was it's a little bit too impersonal. We're about growth. We all grow every single day. Things don't go perfect, but we learn lessons and we get better as individuals and collectively as a team. So that was a recommendation. We wanted high-quality, research-based training, development, and support, and for us, it was really important for all employees. So those are the changes for that one. And fifth, financial strength, based upon feedback again from the DAC, from principals, and from the community, strategic planning. It was important so that we have plans, not just for the short term, but we're looking at long term, also your direction. Management, accountability, the other important words was transparency. So we added transparent financial stewardship, and that was important, that we're good stewards of the funds that we collect from local taxpayers, from the state, from the federal government, so that was important to us. And why? To optimize federal, state, and local funding. So those are the recommendations from the different committees. Those are my recommendations for adoption later on today for the goals for 2018, 2019.
Yeah. Very positive, Doc. Very, very positive.
And thank the teams. So that was the first part of the superintendent's report.
Okay.
We're ready for the second part. The second part is the insurance. We do not have a newsletter. It's the summer, but we do have an insurance update.
Good evening, Dr. Canales, Mr. President, members of the board. These are the same two slides that we present every month for the board's information. I'm going to go ahead and approximate the numbers to save a little bit of time. This is a comparison between September 1, 2017, this year versus last year up to May 31st, 2018. So last year with freights or MaxCare, the prior TPA, and medical claims, we paid approximately $8.6 million in medical claims versus this year with the new TPA, we paid approximately $7.5 million in claims. This is medical claims. We spent approximately $1.2 million less so far in medical claims. Prescription drugs, last year we spent $2.6 million versus this year $2.5 million. Difference of approximately $50,000 less this year that we spent. Fixed costs, last year at this time we spent $2.1 million. This year we spent $2.4. That's an increase of about $331,000 in the fixed costs that we paid. Total up through May of 2018, last year was $13.3 million versus this year we're at $12.4 million. That's a difference of exactly $894,644.87 less that we spent this year versus last year. And the self-funded workers' compensation program, this is the way we've been presenting the data the last couple meetings. I think it's working out. So this is kind of gives us a comparison of where we are of total expenses incurred. This includes medical claims and indemnification. So as you can see that last couple years we've been at $338,000. We're doing very well this year. We've incurred exactly $131,762.82 in workers' comp. So we're doing very well this year. And those are the two slides that I have.
Mikey, all these numbers come, do you generate them or do they come from somebody else?
They come from the third-party administrator.
The TPA.
The TPA, yes, which in this case is TriStar Risk Management.
Okay.
What's the reason that it's decreased from 5 years ago?
The difference in the amount of claims is the implementation of the 504 network that the board authorized back in 2015. So we control our network, we control our doctors, and we're able to get employees back to work quicker.
Good.
Any other questions?
Mike, on that network, how many doctors do you have right now?
Right now, we have one doctor's office currently right now. We are working on getting a couple more.
Some additionals?
Yeah, we had one doctor that retired just very recently. We had another doctor that decided to get out of the work comp business. So right now, that leaves us with one doctor's office right now. But we do have we are in the process of getting a couple more to make up for those.
Good.
Continue good work, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosa. And for the next report on facilities, just to update you on a couple of projects we have going, Mr. Americo Garza. And we'll highlight some of the major ones.
Good evening, Dr. Canales, Mr. Lopez, members of the board. I will be making the presentation on the construction progress report for the various projects that are underway throughout the district. With so many projects going on, this can be a lengthy presentation, so I will be limiting myself to touching on only a few of the major projects. Should you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll be glad to answer any of the questions on any other project.
I need to pick up the mic.
Excuse me. Is that better?
Thank you.
All right. First, I'd like to say that this construction information is available via the school district's website at www.wisd/departments under the selection of Weslaco ISD construction projects. This information that I will be presenting is not uploaded yet on the website, but it will be available by Wednesday of this week. The first project that I'd like to touch on is the new Weslaco High School field house. We have site work ongoing. The storage building pad, as you can see in the pictures there, is in place. We do have a setback that's caused some delays on the project, and that's on the construction of the field house itself. And that has to do with an irrigation line that was found running through the construction site. That irrigation line is servicing our irrigation pump for the practice fields and the baseball field, and I believe the softball field as well. And so that set us back a little bit. We did have a meeting with the irrigation district's manager, Randy Winston, a week and a half ago. And so we're moving forward to cut that section of line, which is a concrete line about 24 inches in diameter, that's going right through the site. And so they have given us a green light to do that while we come up with a temporary solution to irrigate the fields, with the understanding that we will relocate that line also to a location that's easily accessible for service in the future. And that would be between the baseball and the softball fields running from Panther Drive to Pike, and thereby making the connection to that pump house, which is, the pump house is near that property, that private property is over by Pike on the northeast side of the stadium, on the visitor side.
How was that overlooked?
During our meeting, that question came up, and my understanding is that they're dealing with such documentation so old that, and they have two databases. Well, they have a database that they're keeping up, and the documentation they're keeping track of from 1906, dating back to 1906. And so the civil engineer did not find that line on the documents that he reviewed. The line that he found is running from Panther Drive to Pike through the middle of the parking lot between the weight room and the existing field house. That's clear of the construction site. However, this line intersects that main line in a wide direction heading northwest through the practice field through that site. So it wasn't found in any of the documentation that was reviewed. So it's one of those unknown conditions that came up.
Do we know who owns that line?
That's our line. Based on our research and what the field research that we've done, it's strictly servicing our pump. That's all it's doing right now.
The reason I ask is I'd like to ensure that there's no easements that we're encroaching on. And if there is, we're going to have some problems, I think.
Well, that meeting, that item was touched on during the meeting, Mr. Lopez. And yeah, it would be a matter of just transferring the easement from the main line that will be abandoned to the relocation of the line. So that's also being worked on as well.
Okay.
So the project cost is $3,004,000. That change order is pending based on that irrigation line that was found. We're still looking at a breakdown of the change order, and once the architect and the engineer review the change order and it's final, then one of the options is to use contingencies or allowances of the project, because it's certainly right now at this point is less than $10,000, that change order for that section they need to cut and cap.
But then we're gonna have to fix it or reroute it, right?
Right.
That'll
We
be
have to
another-
relocate, yes. We have to relocate so we can continue getting service from that line for the irrigation of the fields.
Okay.
Substantial completion, January 2019. At this point, we don't know how much of a delay this will pose on the completion schedule, substantial completion. We do have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow with the architect and the contractor, and we'll discuss those items then. Right now, we're looking at about, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks that this unknown condition is.
Is that 2 to 3 weeks from now or 2 to 3 weeks back?
2 or 3 weeks back. So while they were working on the storage building, the concrete pad, they really couldn't do much on the actual field house construction. So they did what they could in the surrounding areas of the construction site, which is utility work, underground sewer lines, the fire sprinkler system lines, and so forth. But beyond that, they really couldn't do much. The next project is the Weslaco ISD High School Band Hall. We ranked the proposals. They have been ranked, and there's an agenda item for the board to approve the recommendation by administration. We haven't started, so there's really no setbacks. Project cost will be determined based on the approval. No change orders at this point, and the total cost the same. That will be determined upon your approval. Substantial completion, February 2018. I'm sorry, 2019. That's a typo there.
Americo, on the band hall, I know you got a February 2018 completion. How are we doing with the start date in regards to when that February 2018 date was given? I know that you probably got that from the architects when we started this project. But are we behind schedule? Are we on schedule with the dates that they had given to start?
Not at this point, Mr. Lopez. That's still a good substantial completion date based on the number of days that they gave us to substantially complete the project on the proposals. So we are allowing all of June to come up with that substantial completion based on the number of days that they submitted.
Okay.
So we're still good. The next project is the roofing. We have roofing going on at Cuellar Middle School, the gymnasium, and the band hall. We have Olive Airport Elementary. We have B. Garza, the band hall and gym areas as well, and the old band hall at Weslaco High School. And so there, as you can see from the pictures there, the progress is going. They're at airport. They're tearing the roof, the existing roof, all the layers to deck, and installing the new layers on there. At B. Garza, as you can see there, it's an overlay of the roof on the existing, and the progress is going. Mobilization has started at Cuellar and Weslaco High School as well. They're a bit behind, not the same. It's a different contractor, but they are moving already. And there's a substantial completion dates as well. Next one is the Calvillo Cade Complex, the Advanced Manufacturing Technology Shop at Calvillo Cade Complex, and the welding and woodworking facility at the PD Abigail Ag Farm. And so on that one as well, mobilization has started. The welding stations were to be done by owner, and that has been completed. Our welding crews finished those stations, so they're ready to go. The site is cleared for them to proceed, so we're engaging Magic Valley for the electrical upgrades that will be necessary for that project, and moving right along with this project. Substantial completion October 18, 2018 for this project. And one more that I'll touch on, like I said, it can be a lengthy presentation, so feel free to ask me any questions on the other projects. Tennis court sliding at Weslaco High School and Weslaco East High School.
Garza, hold on.
Yes.
Ms. Avila, with the completion date in October, What does that do for our students?
Well, we're gonna have to just improvise. They'll have to either take a test to see or just we've got it, so it'll work. We'll make it work.
Thank you.
The tennis courts lighting at both high schools, the existing lighting poles and lighting system at the high school has been removed. Trenching is just about complete and all the conduit laid out for the electrical wiring. And so it's just a matter of waiting for the materials so they can start working on the installation of the new poles, the new piers and foundations and so forth.
They're working at both campuses?
That's correct, yes. And that's where I'll stop. If you have any questions on any of the projects, I'd be glad to answer.
Good, America. Good job.
What's status on the pavilions?
The pavilions, they are moving right along, sir, as well. The site work has started on both campuses, Mary Hogue and Cuellar, for the pavilions. And also for the restrooms, as you can see from the pictures there, there's employees already, workers, removing some of the brick pavers to get ready for the side work for the restrooms there at the science wing at Central Middle School. So they are moving along already.
Okay.
They've started the work.
Okay. Any more comments,
One
questions?
quick question, America, on our scoreboard,
Yes, sir.
the 1.4 million, do we have sponsors already?
That, I would defer the question to Mr. Robledo. He's the one who's been working on that.
We're in the process of soliciting sponsors right now. Now is crunch time, is the time where we start those conversations with different businesses in the area. But we do have some serious talks going on with some businesses.
And when is the first payment due?
September 15th.
How much?
About $110,000.
Okay.
109.
What are we receiving right now on the scoreboard that we have?
Right now, 80,000 per year.
So we're gonna be 30,000 short
Well, no, it's
at minimum?
more because it's two payments of 110. September 15 and March 15.
Is that gonna be every year?
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna be paying, what,
20
a year?
A year?
Yes, sir. So we have a 140 that will carry in from the budget until we can increase the sponsors.
Well, let's get busy, find sponsors.
I'll pitch in. Doc? Dr. Rodriguez?
I'm already signed up.
I'm already there, okay.
And just briefly on this project, actually, as a matter of fact, this morning we received some of the initial shop drawings for review, so it's coming right along. The contractor's working on the rest of the submittals and construction documents.
Americo, on your next update, I would like to see the architect on your report, on each project, and the contractor.
Will do. I'll let him on there. That's all I have.
Thank you, America.
Thank you, Americo.
Thank you.
A lot of projects, good job.
Yes, sir.
Keep them all going. Okay, moving on to item number 8 is a consent agenda. Dr. Canales?
Board of Trustees, we recommend that you approve the consent agenda with the exception of N2.
Okay. N2, and are you going to be changing it, or
We do have a handout, an update.
there's going to be some
We're going
changes?
to pull one. We're going to pull out N2.
Full item N,
N2?
completely, so I can go over a couple of comments on it.
Okay.
I'll put it
Item,
separately.
Ivan, does there need to be any kind of explanation, or just pull it?
What he's saying right now is to pull the entire end so he can
Right.
talk to you in detail about all the
changes.
budget amendments, but I think they're going to propose that one of the items that the board not take any action on tonight at all, but.
Just like when you say anything you want to pull, you pull it, just pull item N. And
Pull
then,
all of it, item N?
for right now, and approve it
Right.
separately. Approve everything else except N, and then after I make
Okay,
a
I'll make
comment.
the motion to approve with the exception of N.
Second.
Motion by Oscar and a second by Andrew to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item N. Wait a minute, does anybody else need to pull anything?
No.
Okay. Okay, is there any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Okay, so we're gonna pull N2
No, that's it.
That's it.
Now,
completely.
I'll
Okay.
go over N.
Item number 9, discussion items.
No. Now you're gonna have discussion
On
when
item
you're
8
gonna
N.
call letter N.
Now, we're gonna go back to, I thought you were pulling it completely. But not really.
Not really.
Well, within item N, the second
Okay.
amendment. that
Item
is
N, go
listed- Yeah. The second amendment that is listed there,
Okay,
I'd like for the board to completely pull it and not take action on it. We had
Okay.
an error on it, so we need to just pull it out. We'll bring it back in July with the
Okay.
correct information. So not considered item 2.
okay.
And then on item 10, there was an error on one of the amount that we listed. It's on page 10, 13, I guess, of the package. It's a proposal in the Transportation Department.
Okay.
There was an amount that we listed, with increasing a big amount in the budget. The amount for extra duty pay, we had listed an amount of 50,000 and increasing it by 100,000. The correct balance should say, available balance was 500,000 in the budget. We want to increase it by 100. So the amended budget will be 600,000 instead of 150, the way we had it. We had left a zero out.
Andres,
Inadvertently, we missed it.
that's on 10?
Yes,
It's on 10.
it's page 10 of the one that are numbered.
Didn't you cut transportation budget?
Yes, I had,
And then we've had to make
Yeah.
adjustments to it?
well, we took a money, about 400,000 out of the gas. So we put in back 75,000 for fuel. Because we had, now we have a price increase that we didn't have it before.
What was the original budget?
I don't remember. But it was, we had increased about 500,000 a long time ago. And then prices started going down and we never took it out.
Now prices are going back up.
So,
and
right. So
and I
we
think-
added an extra 100,000 for
I
next
guess
year
my
already
point
in the
is,
budget.
Mr. Lopez has shared with you and I have shared with you, and I think in one of the other meetings where, are you sure we're gonna take from this fund and not have to revisit it? And we've had to revisit it. This is the second time, if not the third.
Well, last time when I took it out was the fuel budget. And the reason we increased it is because of payroll. Because we had a lot more trips. So there's a lot more wages that we were not considering back then, not because a lot of the fuel went up a lot or anything else.
Is that what, I think there was, had to do with the ACE program?
No, the ACE program, we have it covered with the grant.
Oh, okay.
The extra duty pay for that gets covered with the ACE program.
So
that
this
program.
100,000 is extra duty pay, correct?
Yes, sir, And we also put in more money in the wages, because some of the drivers that we have budgeted them under 30 hours per week. They actually work 40 or more hours, so the one that worked 40 hours is not extra duty pay, but it's additional money that we hadn't budgeted for.
So they'll cover this for the summer?
Yes.
Okay.
Up to the first 2 weeks of the next school year.
Okay.
Andres,
Yes, sir.
so you were short $500,000 in support staff or salaries?
We
You
are,
have to increase it by $500,000?
yes, sir. We had a lot more trips that the drivers have. Any help, Mike? Well, we had more trips this year than we had before.
$500,000,
Yes, sir.
500,000? So you had to decrease the other accounts?
Well, we
to
have
balance
some
it?
money, this is from some contingencies that we had aside some extra money. Some vacancies from teachers that we hadn't hired are also reflected. The first 7 items on the top.
Okay. So the ones you have to decrease, because you're decreasing a lot to make up your $500,000.
Yes, sir.
So do you need the ones you're decreasing for the rest of the year?
Well, the one we're decreasing, we don't need them. There's some vacancies that we hadn't filled and some contingencies that we had.
I hadn't really seen this,
Uh,
but
I'm not taking it out of the transportation fund. We're taking it from other functions. That's why he's not aware of it.
It's just like right now, an example, like Ms. Avila said, some people don't realize that when they improvise and they have to transport like to, let's say, STC, those costs always, all of a sudden come up, and then people say, well, why is it increasing? Well, because of things like that, and, just a lot more trips. Of course, Coach Joe has seen just the amount that the trips have risen, and campuses take a lot more trips. Fuel has gone up, our fleet has grown, so it's just all those costs that have.
I understand, but Andres, see if I'm correct, what you just said. So you're going to increase the support staff by $500,000, but you're not going to decrease his budget?
No, sir.
So then you're going to a fund balance, other
No.
accounts?
We're taking money from Function 11. and from
Other,
Func-
other accounts?
Yes,
Other
accounts.
programs?
Yes, and Function 51.
Is it fair to them to take their money out?
Well, we have some vacancies that we hadn't filled.
Yeah, but you got about 8
And on the 51,
decreases here.
we have 2 accounts on utilities that we saving a lot, that we're not going to use, so the money will be available. We looked at the accounts before we made the amendment, and the utility that we're not going to spend the money. And also some contingencies that I had set up in case things come up at the end of the year. So we took money from there.
So all from salaries?
The
Two
large amount, yes.
Most of it?
There's some for repairs in case there's repair needed in the summer. We still have some money, but if there's some repair needed in the summer, we'd rather have the money. We don't spend it, it comes back at the end of the year to fund
So if
balance.
you had not been short, the money here would have been towards your fund balance?
Yes, sir.
So for the new year, for 19, are you going to get these figures kind of where they're supposed to be?
Well, we already increased the fuel, and as we go to the next one that come to the budget in July, I'll look at the numbers to see what we compare. If I need to increase it, I'll work on it and let you know. So we don't go through this next year.
Okay.
I think you had stepped out, Doctor, when, on the last part of his report during the workshop. And according to his numbers, he's gonna have $2 million left
Right, no,
over
yeah, I was here when that happened, to the 2 million.
on that one.
It might be more, as we get close to the year, I'll give you better numbers on that.
Okay. Make the motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is that item 10?
I'll make the motion to approve
Budget amendments.
N,
10.
yeah, with the exception of number 2 and number 10.
Wait a minute.
No?
No,
Just
only
in.
10.
Oh, okay.
The other one's already been done.
Oh, okay. All righty, so I'll make the motion to approve the letter N with the approval of number 10 and the exception of number 2. Got it.
Second.
Motion by Oscar, second by Andrew to approve item N with the exception of number
2.
2 and to include number 10 as discussed. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Now we move, right? That was, okay, item number 9, discussion items. A, first reading of revision of policy GKD, local community relations, non-school use of school facilities. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, we had some discussions at the workshop about GKD local, about community relations and non-school use of school facilities. Mr. Garcia has led the work on this one. Basically, GKD local states that individuals or for-profit organizations are not permitted to use Weslaco ISD's facilities for financial gain. So we're asking in this reading to consider allowing individuals or for-profit organizations to use our facilities by charging fees. Our administrators have developed a fee schedule that would be charged for its facilities for any individual or nonprofit organization. In addition, this policy includes another section on campaign-related use the district's facilities can be used as official polling places. However, facilities will not be available by individuals or groups for political advertising, campaign communications, or electioneering, as this is prohibited by state law. So that's also included in this policy. So on GKD local, and you do have a copy before you, the red is the old language, for-profit use. The blue is the new language, right before the campaign-related use, which is by law, we need to have that in there. You have the paragraph above, the district shall permit individuals and for-profit organizations to use its facilities for financial gain when these activities do not conflict with school use or with this policy. We also have another change on page 2 that's being recommended, where it's the superintendent's designee is authorized to approve use of facilities on a school campus or at a district facility. It previously read the principal is authorized to approve use of a campus facility. Mr. Garcia also, with his team and feedback, prepared a facility fee schedule. You want to walk us through that one?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Canales.
Welcome.
Good evening, Dr. Canales, Mr. Lopez, members of the board, and thank you, Dr. Canales, for going through the policy. I was ready to do it, but thank you very much for doing it. We also prepared, members of the board, we prepared a facilities fee schedule, myself, Coach Riojas, Mr. Robledo, and we looked at other districts to see what kind of facility fee schedule they had to kind of, gauge our way through putting this together. Administration also met with Dr. Rivera. Since he is in the committee, the policy committee, I contacted Mr. Kennedy, but due to his schedule, he was unable to meet with us because we just wanted to let them know the direction that we were hoping to take. If you look at the fee schedule that you have before you, we have a separate one for athletics and one for the PAC. And those are fee schedules that or fees that we develop for Group 1, which is the nonprofit group, and Group 2 for the profit, okay? And of course, you're going to see that for the profit, it's going to be a little higher, quite higher. Based on all the information that the board provided to us, I want to call your attention to the very top where it says fee charges on the fee schedule are by the hour and do not include hourly personnel charges. If you notice down here on the hourly personnel charges, that we would determine once we set up the contract with that entity or that individual. Also very important, towards almost towards the bottom, right above the hourly personnel charges, we added some statements there. The first one for nonprofit, it reads organizations whose membership is comprised of a majority of 75% of WI students will be considered for a discounted or no fee on the facility usage hourly rate as approved by the superintendent. And the reason why we did that was because a lot of our students do participate in, a lot of these events. So we wanted to add that there as well. Under the for-profit, 20% of profit obtained from any event in which there is a fee charge will go to WISD. These are just ideas that we came up with for your consideration. It is the same thing for the PAC as well.
And we talked about 20% profit, we're talking about net profit.
Net profit.
Correct.
Yes, it should read net profit. I apologize.
What do organizations currently pay for the use of the facilities?
Pardon me?
What do organizations usually pay for the use of the facilities? For example, like the Little League teams that use the Weslaco Stadium. Will their fee be going up under this proposed schedule?
Again, that's where that statement comes in, Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, the 75%?
Right. The idea that if it is for nonprofit and it involves at least 75% of our students, then we would go to the superintendent and ask her consideration for a discounted fee or no fee for those groups.
Okay.
With the idea that we're serving our own students, so why would we charge them a fee for that? So.
Okay. But I think at this time, they still pay for the custodial and the security, if I'm correct, right?
And electricity
So
too.
they don't make any money, I mean, the district doesn't make any money, but they just pay whatever they have to pay for manpower.
Correct.
Right now, we don't use Babilaki Stadium due to everything being new on that stadium, correct?
Right, yeah, the stadium isn't, we only allow them to use it for their playoff game.
The playoff game, and there was no charge, right?
Correct.
And where is the fee going? To what account?
Sanchez?
Mr. Sanchez?
You're the money man.
The money man.
The money.
It is in the local maintenance fund, and we could put it to pay the scoreboard together with the advertising. Right now, when it's reimbursement from payroll, we still put it in a local account in the revenues. We could
I think
put it
it's a
there.
good idea to go to our scoreboard.
We can put it there. We have an account set up for scoreboard advertising, we can put it there as well.
One thing I'd like to ask is, it says here on the very last pages, all groups using school facilities shall be responsible for the cost of repairing any damages incurred during the use and shall be required to indemnify the district for the cost of any such repairs. Are we going to require these organizations to provide proof of insurance before they rent?
We already do that, sir.
We do that now? Okay.
Coach, when, if they rent the football field, does the scoreboard come out automatically? Or is that gonna be an added fee?
What we have done in the past is that's an additional fee for the scoreboard.
Additional fee?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As long as it stays the same.
Coach,
Or-
I know the last time we spoke, your numbers were kind of way off. So are we pretty much in line now with these numbers?
They were not, well, let me go back. The numbers that we talked about the last time were, I guess I did not explain them as well as I should have, but they were hourly rate numbers and not a one set fee rate. We've actually gone back with Sergio and Andres Cantu, our assistant, and looked at all the numbers, compared them to all the schools, and just kind of kept it something similar but not too outrageously crazy, something very reasonable for the nonprofits. And then obviously that's why we came up with the phrase or the clause that if you are utilizing utilizing our facilities and our students are gaining and benefiting 100% from the use as far as, gaining skill, getting better at their craft, then we want to work with our kids and not push them away or have to charge them a fee to where they have to go somewhere else. And that's why we kind of put that clause in there to help that situation out. But these figures, they can seem pretty high, but that's very similar to what other schools are doing, not only in the Valley, but we also looked at San Antonio, we also looked at a school in Austin as well, to just kind of make sure that we're being compatible with those fees. Yes, sir. And these fees, again, they are hourly rate. Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Coach, as long as we can make sure that, if it's our own kids,
Right.
that are needing to use the facilities, we don't, like you said, turn them away.
Right.
We try and make it feasible for them to be able to take advantage of
Correct.
them getting better,
Right.
especially over the summer when a lot of times these teams are working on their own.
Right.
I think that's something that we need to make sure we keep in mind there.
Yes, sir. The only thing we ask, and we do talk about it with our athletic coordinators during our coordinators meetings, is let us know who is requesting it, get us in the loop. One thing we're not going to shy away from and not look away from is liability insurance, so that we can take care of Weslaco ISD, where they are using our facilities. We've met with Mr. La Rosa, which I consider an insurance expert, and I've talked to him about different coverages and what is actually entailed in it. And I think, we are requesting that liability insurance. It's very important that we have it.
Have you met with legal counsel on advice as to approval on this, what we're doing here?
We have not, no, sir, or I have not.
You haven't reviewed none of this?
We've talked about it generally, but my understanding is pricing is going to be the preference of the board, so pricing is pricing. We just want to be careful as to, what we look at legally is we can't pick and choose who's going to be using the facilities. It's got to be blanket for-profit or non-for-profit, and then we have to treat everybody the same. So we'd be looking for consistency and making sure we're not differentiating within the group itself.
This is the first reading. How many more readings?
Two.
Two more?
Dr. Canales, who's going to be your designee for approval of the use of facilities? Who's going to get that extra duty?
For athletics, Coach Riojas is already pretty much doing it. And
Okay.
for the PAC and the others, Mr. Robledo has been doing that.
Oh, okay.
And then since we're changing the campuses, the principals would go to the two assistant soups and then to me.
Okay.
So
Have you, Mr.
what I
Pettis?
thought about.
Sorry. Have you seen the language of the policy?
The existing policy?
The policy as proposed?
I was just looking at it right now.
Oh, okay. Well, Mike, I like hypotheticals. What's to stop Idea Academy from renting space on one of our facilities and filming a commercial that criticizes Weslaco ISD? Under this policy, it says the district shall permit individuals and for-profit organizations to use its facilities. We'd have no way to stop that.
Yeah,
Don't we have something?
Other than it, local policy can be, the board can, there's no such thing as a board breaking local policy. You can choose to follow local policy or not follow policy. But yeah, that's a scenario that could come up.
We did, if I may, sir, we did talk about it, and I guess we just didn't include it in here, but we did talk about reserving the right to deny request on a facility request from any entity. If we feel that, number one, it would damage our facilities, not be in line with what our goals are.
Just put a bigger asterisk, Coach.
Right.
Put it on there.
We will do that, yes, sir, good point.
So when it comes to us the next time around, we can see it on there.
Yes, sir.
Can we amend it before the next reading? Okay. I mean, I'd like the general idea. I'd just like to maybe, like Andrew says, maybe put an asterisk, that kind of an idea.
And what I'd recommend that next time they come in and, under the discussion of possible action items, so you all actually take a vote on it as opposed to just coming in through a reading. That way you maintain control of it.
I got one more question for you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Because this is, and I know this for a fact, because of friends that I have, but I know that there's a lot of employees and non-employees that have keys to our facilities. They have either baseball fields, softball fields, gyms, and, what are we doing to, get those keys back? And I don't know how all these people have them. And there is an abundance of people that do have it.
Yes, sir. We have done several tactical, if you will. We've called an emergency meeting at Weslaco High School with all staff, where Dr. Profetto, who's in charge of keys, and Ms. Morales asked all their coaches to turn in their keys and reissue out keys. And we did, just to see who had. There's a lot of ghost or fake master keys out there that unfortunately people have, and we have tackled it that way. We have changed locks. Changing the locks is very expensive. It's
Right.
very cost effective or very costly, and of course with master keys out there, that's kind of useless. What we've also started doing is we've also started calling our campus, Mrs. Escalon, to visit the site when we have people out there, and request a key and request, documentation. So any facility forms that we're approving from here on out, that we've been approving this year,
Right.
we've been giving the folks a copy of the facility use form. We ask them to carry it with you, so that if somebody asks questions, you have the proof that you belong there.
Is there anything that we can add to, I don't know if, to where it says, that any employee that is carrying one of these, fake master keys or, I guess, that they will face termination by the district if they are caught using it or something like that?
That's a question for you.
That's probably better suited for a employee handbook type
Right.
of a situation as opposed to this
Just
policy.
to add it in or something, or, just
The
for
other
further
thing the other thing
future.
we have done, sir, is we have directed Ms. Escalon to press charges. I guess it was harder to do prior to, because we didn't have signs that said no trespassing, violence will be prosecuted. All of those signs have been put up in areas where we can put cameras. We have put cameras like outside the weight rooms, outside the gymnasiums. We've added cameras so that we can see what's going on, and if we get if we get a tip or a call, if you will, that this is happening, then we can view what's going on.
And
Because
we
I
actually
gotta-
dispatch security anytime we get reports that there's after-hours use. We will send security out there, and if they do not have a form, the security personnel will request the key back or try to confiscate the key back from that one individual. If they're uncooperative, if they don't want to leave, then Weslaco PD is called, and we file the first trespassing notice.
All right.
Well, I don't want to take too much long because I know we need to move on, but just to piggyback off, and I've said it again, why aren't our gates closed? Close the gate, they can't get into our facilities. If they have a use of the form, then we can call Ms. Escalona and one of our securities can go and open the gate and allow them to go into whichever facility they're going to use. So I don't know if that's whoever leaves the campus last. I don't know how we work it, but I think it just starts there just by closing the gate. And I think that's what makes East very hard to get into.
I think,
Right.
are we getting off track here?
No, and that's why I just wanted to add it.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, that was a long A. Let's move on to B. First reading of revision of to policy FNF, local students' rights and responsibilities, interrogations and searches. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, this is also a first reading. For this one, we have incorporated the information from the workshop about drug testing for students involved in different types of activities. So Mr. Garcia will go highlight some of the changes on GKD,
FNF.
hold on, FNF, local.
That sounds weird.
FNF local, thank you. Yes, as Dr. Canales said, we went ahead and included this new information in the policy for the first reading. And this has to do with the random mandatory drug testing for students 7 to 12 who wish to participate in extracurricular activities such as athletics, cheerleading, band, and others. Again, it will be random, and the purpose, of course, is to prevent harm and enforce the drug-free environment in our district. This distribution of policy, of course, would be to the students and parents prior to the students' participation through an orientation meeting before each of the semesters to explain the drug testing program, and the meeting would be mandatory for students, and for students under the age of 18, the parents would have to attend as well. If they do not attend the meeting, then we still give them another opportunity by having them come to the campus to review the recording of the initial meeting. They would have to sign a consent form annually, and these results, the results of the drug testing would be simply for eligibility purposes. Under confidentiality, only the students, parents, and the designated administrator officials would get the information, the results of the tests, and it wouldn't go in the academic records of the students. Also, the collection procedures would be done through urine. The student would be escorted by a district employee in a closed restroom stall, and of course, the person who would accompany the student would be someone of the same gender. 10% of the students in the group, the no less than 10% and no more than 10% of the students participating in the program would be tested during random test dates. There won't be a prior notice letting them know when the testing is going to happen. If a student refuses to test or tamper with the test, it will be deemed to have a positive result. If the student is absent on the day of the random test for which they have been selected, then they will have to test the next random testing date. The confirmation of test positive results, if they do come back with positive test results on the first time, then they will have a second test with the same specimen. Okay, and then very quickly, the consequences for the first offense. The student will be suspended for 15 school days from the extracurricular activity. For the second offense, 30 days, and for the third offense, they will be suspended for the rest of the school year.
From
That
the
is the
school
information.
activity? Did you say from the school activity? Is that?
Yes, from participating in that extracurricular activity, whether it's band, athletics, et cetera. So, do you have any questions? Again, Coach Riojas and myself
This
sat
is,
down and looked at this policy.
Information purpose only?
Yes, this
No
is
action
first
is
reading.
required. It's a
No
first
action.
reading.
No
Okay.
action.
Do we anticipate for this to take into effect for this coming school year?
Coach Rojas, question.
Yes, sir.
The last time we had drug testing,
Mhm.
which was several years ago,
Mhm.
how many students tested positive?
None, sir. That was UIL mandatory steroid test.
And is
steroid
a
drug
UIL mandatory again, or this is to prevent our student athletes from, doing drugs or whatever? What is
test. Right, so
the idea?
this program, sir, is strictly on illegal drug use.
Correct.
And so I think the main purpose of this program is to give the kids a real out, and if they're getting pressured to try drugs, the goal and the plan is to hopefully this will encourage them to say no, because I might, be selected to drug test, and I'm playing football, or I'm playing volleyball, or I'm playing, or I'm in band, or I'm in cheer, or whatever the case may be. It's, the feedback that we've received from other schools has been that they feel that it has had a very positive impact on their programs.
When was the last time we did drug testing?
That I'm aware of, sir, and for drug testing like this one, I am not sure that
09,
that we
10?
have, I'm not sure, sir. I know we did UIL steroid testing,
Steroid.
Right.
but that was not
The drug testing.
street drugs, yes, sir.
Okay.
So how often? Are we gonna drug test?
We're proposing 4 tests a year. It's all up to us, I guess, right now, as we're going through the process. But most schools are doing 4 times a year. We've kind of already looked at the calendar, kind of studied it a little bit, and we're looking at maybe a late September.
You don't have to give the dates.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
just the kind of idea.
And every random, it would be 100 kids or 50 kids or?
Well,
10%?
I know the policy says, or the policy reads 10%.
Yeah.
Right now, that's kind of hard to determine what
Yeah.
that number will
So you
be.
don't have that number yet?
We don't have that number.
Just a
Right.
rough estimate? Hundreds?
No, it'll be more than that.
If we have 200 students in band, then it would be.
Oh, but so you're only gonna do like band students or what?
Yes, they would be set in the separate groups.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't be overall.
So it's not 10% of the.
Yeah, of the athletic program.
10% of the.
I know this is only the first, or we're
Yeah, yes,
bringing
sir.
it back, but there's no action on this one. But just real quick, how many schools currently do it?
Quite a bit. I know Raymondville, Sherryland, Roma. Roma is still under the policy. They haven't done it in a year or so, but they're still under the policy. I want to say Harlingen is not doing it. I know those 4 schools for sure.
Okay,
I
let me-
wouldn't want to
a
mislead
follow-up
you there.
question is,
Yes, sir.
are we gonna reach out to parents so parents are aware of
Yes.
our
Yes,
policy?
sir. We have
Will
to
it
do
be,
that. Mhm.
Are we gonna have a meeting with them? And then are we gonna, or when they have the band, when band comes back, when all these kids come back,
Mhm.
they'll be well aware of it? Are we gonna put it in the student handbook? How do we, just
So
wanna
those
make
are-
sure
those are-
that whatever we decide up here, if we move
Mhm.
forward with this, that the parents knew and the student knew, way
Correct.
ahead of time.
Yes, sir. So the plan is, and we're going to meet here real soon. We've already started kind of talking about that. We have to keep in mind that as of today, all students that are eligible for UIL sports in August have already gotten all their physical and all their health history packets already been turned in. So they are officially ready to go in August. So the ideal thing would be to include this packet and all this information with that information. But since we've already done that, we're going to have to go back. I was visiting with Coach Salinas this morning, go back and have a parent meeting, general meeting with all programs. I'm talking about athletics. We would have to, of course, include all the other programs. Meet with the principals, have a general meeting, kind of like we did the scheduling meeting, something very similar to that, and do a PowerPoint or a slide presentation and inform everybody. First day of school, during the athletic periods, also start, because you're going to get a lot of kids that they're not going to be there.
Okay.
So we have to come up with a
Just wanna make
very
sure the
good way.
message is out.
Oh, yes, yes, sir.
Well, this is a good thing. I like it. You know, anybody has a problem with it, we know why. I mean, it's not a good thing. So I like it, and let's move forward with it, and let's get it. I mean, in the long run, it's good for our kids, and it's good for everybody.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
that's
Thank you. Add it to the budget.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, this is information only, right?
That's what I was trying to get to.
Okay. Let's shorten up the C. Interim financial report for 9 months ended May 31st, 2018. Andres, you have 30 seconds.
We're doing good.
I'm just kidding.
We're doing good.
To May 31.
We're doing well.
Dr. Rivera is ready.
Dr. Canales, Mr. Lopez, members of the board. For the 9 months ended May 31, 2018, in the general fund and budget revenues, we had $173,354,000. We have received $140,877,000. That is 81.27%. On expenditures, we had budgeted $175,381,000. We spent or encumbered $119,445,000. That represents 68.1%. 9 months is equivalent to 75%. So most of the functions, except for transportation, are doing good. Transportation, so May 31 was at 96%. That is why we brought the budget amendment before that we discussed. All the other ones are doing good.
Okay, what was your total budget? 173?
Total budget? No, 100 and,
Or you've received 170?
He's received 140.
175 million is the expenditures that we budgeted.
Okay.
And we've spent or encumbered 119,445,000.
Correct.
Okay,
That's
so you said
payments or purchase order that we have issued.
But that 175, is that your total budget?
In the general fund, yes.
In the general fund?
The amended budget to date.
Okay, and a few years ago, we was like 180,
No, well, that was the total budget,
Was 182.
including the federal programs and other items.
okay, so then, well,
This is the
173
general
is
fund.
not,
No, it was less. Every year, it's been increasing.
it's been cutting back, cutting back, cutting back.
No, we
Getting
have been
less.
increasing because the pay raises alone.
No, but, okay, but I mean, I'm asking you about the money coming in from this,
Oh,
from the feds in the state.
no, they've been about the same. They've been about the same. Because usually, we try to bring in a amended budget, balanced budget. Couple of years in the past, we had 2 years that we had more expenditures than revenues. Because we were trying to do more items, like more computers, more items that we could have gotten from fund balance. If we put them in the budget up front, we should have waited till September or October to bring them in as a separate agenda item. Or we put them all up front. But most of the time, they're balanced budgets. So we have more revenue, we can afford more expenditures. Not that we want to spend it, but when we didn't have enough, we made some cuts.
So right now, you're off $2 million from revenues and expenditures. The bottom amounts.
On the,
So you're off $2 million?
no. Well,
On
we're
your
expecting 2
functions.
million by the end of the year.
I'm sorry?
We're expecting 2 million surplus at the end of the year.
Okay. But what you have, though, the income coming in, your revenues,
Uh-huh.
it's,
We have 140
What-
million. We have spent or encumbered 119, so it's about 20,
Yeah.
20 million.
but you had 173,
Oh, I'm sorry.
your revenues,
Revenues, yes. We had, yes, sir.
173?
Yeah, deficit,
And the,
yeah, 2 million less.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
But
How was
these
it?
are monies you put in from the money we borrowed for facilities.
Well, no, the revenues is just.
No, the expenditures.
Yes, some of it came from the borrowing, yes, sir, or from fund balance.
So that's all you're gonna get on revenues, unless.
Yes, sir.
Because your ADA is gonna
Low,
be less.
right. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Any further questions, comments?
So really, what kind of makes it, your savings is gonna be your staffing, because some you didn't
That's the
hire.
largest
So
one.
good
Yes,
job with those people you didn't hire, because now that's gonna come back to balance your
And, yeah,
budget.
yes, sir, we have
And
several.
savings.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, no more questions.
Thank you, Andres.
Good job.
Segura.
Item D, acknowledgement of Hidalgo County Tax Office Collection Report for May 2018, current taxes and delinquent taxes.
I have let you an agenda item for tax adjustments. You can pull that one on the second page. That's the report from the tax office so that I can go over the tax collections. The one that's highlighted in yellow, second page. Yeah, that one. The cover page is tax adjustments. The second, go to the second page, please. Okay, through May 31, 2018, on the current levy, we have received $24,515,543. There's been some adjustments on it, and the percentage of collections through May 31 is 93.57%. Last year, the collections through May 31 were 92.88%. That is 69% higher this year compared to last year. And I'd like to remind, earlier in the budget presentation, I said that I have budgeted 91%. We already collected 93.5%. So we still have June, July, and August, so we might collect another half or 1% more, so that'll be more tax revenue. That tax revenue brings up a little bit more state funds, so that's helping with some of the $2 million that we're projecting are having, also more revenues on taxes. On the second line, prior year's taxes, prior year levies, the original levy was, or the balance as of September 1 on the prior year levies was $4,297,949. And we have collected through May 31, $987,008. That represents 24.28%. Last year, the collections through May 31 were 22.43%. That represents 1.85% more this year than last year. It's almost 2% more. So the taxes are going well on the collection.
Did your values match your state and local values?
Well, we got local value.
You don't have to appeal?
We don't have to appeal, yes. We got to sign local value.
From your appraisal district, how many protest appeals do you have? You have that information?
I don't know we had any yet. I can check, let you know the update.
I'm sure you will.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Moving on to item number 10, discussion and possible action items. A, discussion and possible action to submit a nomination from within our board, our local board, to fill a position on TASB board and directors, or endorse a nominated individual from another board in our TASB region at the July or August board meetings. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, nominations are open for Region 1, Position A on the TASB Board of Directors.
Anyone interested?
So you can recommend somebody to run. Yes.
No?
Dr. Rivera?
That's why everybody's here today.
Before I'm drafted, no.
Y'all already got one once over there, that other one.
Okay.
Okay, so then is there a motion to nominate from another?
So if no action is taken, an agenda item will be presented in July or August to endorse a nominated individual from another board in our TASB region who has complied with the requirements.
That's fine.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Good. Do we have to do a motion or?
No, I mean, if you
That's it.
call for a motion, if nobody makes a motion, you move on to the next.
Run.
That's for motion? Call for motion. And call for motion. 3 times. That's it. Okay, no motion, Doc. Moving on to item B, discussion and possible action to approve the superintendent goals.
Board of Trustees, I recommend that you approve the goals with many thanks and gratitudes to our principals, our central office, people on our district advisory committee. There are 5 goals as presented earlier in the superintendent's reports. Some of the language has changed based upon feedback, based upon community input from parent meetings.
Those are good goals. I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Isidoro Nieto to approve the goals as presented by our superintendent. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item C, discussion and possible action for the board to renew the district's fleet general liability crime and law enforcement insurance with Travelers Public Entity Group through Shepherd Walton King Insurance Group for fiscal year 2018, 2019, or authorize administration to solicit proposals for same. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, the superintendent, I'm recommending that you approve the renewal of the district's
So
fleet
moved.
general liability.
Second.
Have a motion by Andrew and a second by Isidoro to approve the existing insurance. Is there any further discussion? To approve? You want me to name okay, to approve Travelers, motion to approve the Travelers Public Entity Group through Shepherd Walton King Insurance Group for fiscal year 2018, 2019.
Correct.
Okay.
And the rates are the same.
Yes, sir, there was only, it looked like
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
That was the same.
$20, no,
Yeah.
$48, give or take.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it was almost a flat renewal.
22,106 to
Yes.
I think it's pretty good.
22,154.
Yeah.
Good.
22,106 to 22,154.
Is there any further discussion?
We're going to remove the underinsured motorist provisions in our coverage.
Yeah, there are 2 revisions to this current policy. Hold on. The first one, this is a third and final review. The recommendation for removing the medical payments and uninsured, underinsured riders. That reduces it from about $51,000.
That's our coverage in case we hit, or someone hits us that doesn't have insurance.
That's correct. Normally, when somebody with insurance is not, or we're involved in an accident, someone without insurance, if the accident is completely 100% not at fault and the other party does not have insurance, then this kicks in. But it has to be 100% that we're not at fault. Sometimes the police officer will split the baby, if you will, or assign us maybe 30% responsibility. If that happens, then this doesn't kick in. So really, it's not really worth the extra money.
Okay.
Is that your recommendation, Mike, or is that something that,
When we reviewed the renewals, we know that the budget's going to be short, so these were 2 options that we looked at to save some money for next year, so.
now, I know that our insurance agent is back there. Are we able to ask him questions, Ivan?
You can recognize them if you wish. I mean,
Okay.
as it relates to the agenda item.
Raul, if you would come up, please. I don't know if you're aware, maybe you aren't, about we're not gonna be adding the underinsured, insured, underinsured. What's your take on that, or what is your opinion?
For the record, I'd like to state my name is Raul Cavazza, with Shepherd Walton King, and I'm the insurance agent. Michael and I had talked about this some, and I told him it was an option to remove it if he wanted to, and it's not a requirement. The school district has bought it in the past, basically using local funds, and again, he went back to the budget and the tightness of it, and I said, well, here's an option for you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your input, Raul. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raul.
And that is true, the budget is tight. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no.
No.
Motion carries. Item D, discussion and possible action for the board to renew the district's professional errors and omissions insurance with AIG as submitted by Shepherd Walton King Insurance Group for the fiscal year 2018, 2019, or authorize administration to solicit proposals for the same. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, we are recommending that you approve the renewal of the district's professional errors and omissions insurance with AIG through Shepherd Walter King Insurance Group for the upcoming fiscal full year.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Rivera and second by Andrew Gonzalez to approve the district's professional errors and omissions insurance with AIG as submitted by Shepherd Walton King Insurance Group for fiscal year 2018, 2019. Is there any further discussion?
Again, just another flat renewal.
Okay.
It's exactly the same.
Anyone else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item E, discussion and possible action for the board to renew the district's excess workers' compensation insurance and safety national insurance as submitted by Shepherd Walton King Insurance Group for fiscal year 2018, 2019, or authorize administration to solicit proposals for same. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, this is the third will be the third and final year for this one. I am recommending that you approve the renewal of the district's excess workers' compensation insurance with Safety National Insurance through Shepherd Walter King
Move to
Insurance
approve.
Group.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Andrew to renew the district's excess workers' compensation insurance with Safety National Insurance as submitted by Shepherd Walton King Insurance Group for fiscal year 2018, 2019. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item F, discussion and possible action for the board to renew the district's property and casualty, boiler and machinery, and inland marine insurance with McGriff, Siebels, and Williams for fiscal year 2018, 2019, or authorize administration to solicit proposals for same. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, as we completed our first year, I am recommending that the board approve the renewal offer for McGriff, Siebels, and Williams for property and casualty, boiler machinery, and inland marine for the fiscal year 2018, 2019.
Okay. Mike?
Dr. Canales, are you comfortable with this?
We have, there is an increase in it due to increases of additional value for our property. When we're looking at this, and when I'm looking at this, looking at what happened last year with Hurricane Harvey, knowing the season that we moved into, the season that we're moving into, we do have the stated amount for the coverage for this year. You know, that's the recommendation that I've made after looking at everything.
This was the, the firm that we had many questions last year, that we had workshops and several meetings.
That is the one.
So it's to renew or to go ahead and go out for proposals?
Right.
Okay, I'll make the motion to go ahead and go out for new proposals.
Second.
A motion by Dr. Rivera and a second by Patrick Kennedy to go out for proposals. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Item G, discussion and possible action for action on a resolution authorizing the resale of foreclosed real estate properties for failure to pay ad valorem taxes. Dr. Canales.
Hello, Board of Trustees. We have on this one, Andres, will you be also?
Iram Gutierrez.
Okay, Iram, Mr. Gutierrez.
Good evening, Dr. Canales, President Lopez, members of the board. For the record, my name is Iram Gutierrez, partner with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott, your delinquent tax firm. We're bringing a resolution authorizing the resale of foreclosure properties. In particular, there's 11 properties that are within the jurisdiction of the school district that we want to put up for resale in our upcoming tax resale.
On these properties that you have, are they homesteads? Is anybody living there?
There are no homesteads. They pretty much all look like vacant lots. Some of them have some dilapidated
All of them are
structures
in
on
that
them.
packet that you sent us, right?
They are in the packet.
According to the appraisal district, none of them have anything that's appraised as a structure on the property.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure, I know it appears, I wanted to make sure that there is no homes, nobody gets put out.
We looked, we gave instructions to our field inspectors to go check and see if there was anybody living on the properties. Even if they had no homestead on them, we still looked, and it does not appear that any of them have anybody living on them.
Yeah, on the update, those pictures show that nobody was living in there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a motion by Andrew and a second by Isidoro to approve a resolution authorizing the resale of foreclosed real estate properties for failure to pay ad valorem taxes. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item H, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval for a change order for the installation of canopies at 4 campuses, project CSP number 18-02-28. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, the change order is directly associated with the canopy installation at Weslaco East High School. In order for the canopy to be attached to the exterior brick wall of the building, the fire marshal is requiring our district to install a sprinkler system to the entire canopy. This area will be used by welding students as a working area, which is why the sprinklers are required. We agree that to support our students, that we need to do this for the canopy. The total cost of is $9,200, bringing the overall project cost to $86,317. So I am recommending that you approve change order number 1 for the canopy installation project at Weslaco East High School, and we don't expect any other change orders for the
So
canopies,
moved.
correct?
I'll second.
And of course, that was because of the fire sprinkler
Fire
system.
marshal.
Yeah, okay.
We need it.
Okay, we have a motion by Isidoro and a second by Oscar to approve the change order for the installation of canopies at 4 campus projects, CSP 18-02-28. Dr. Canales, did you say that it's for a fire sprinkler or for the canopies?
It's to install a sprinkler system to the entire canopy.
At Weslaco.
So at the canopies,
High School.
It's the extension of the sprinkler system that's already installed in the main building onto the canopy.
Right.
Yes.
because it doesn't read that.
What does it read?
It reads installation of canopies at 4 campus projects.
Yes, the project is for 4 campuses. The change order is only at East High School.
So the change order is for fire sprinklers or for canopies?
No, it's for a fire sprinkler at the canopy at East High School.
It doesn't say that.
What do you mean it doesn't
Say
say
the
that?
change order is directly associated with a canopy installation at Weslaco East.
The recommendation,
Are you reading it, Ivan?
Well, the
You
one,
already have the canopies.
Yeah,
So
the
all you want to
project-
do is you just want to add,
yeah, the project is for
sprinkler,
campuses.
yeah.
That's what the title of the project is for 4 campuses, but the change order is only at East High School.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we don't have an issue because
We're okay?
I think it's because of the way the agenda
The
reads.
overall project are 4
It's 4
canopies, but
campuses.
So there's one contract that encompasses
All 4.
all of them, so you are including a change order for that project.
because it doesn't say anything about the fire sprinklers, so,
Yes, it does.
okay. If we're okay, we're okay.
it says this on the one on,
On the
Is it-
description,
It's
it
the
does, but
second, second line on the change order description, fire sprinkler.
on the reading, but you don't have it on the agenda item.
but you have it on.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, But you're giving notice to the public that there's a change order request that's coming before the board, and so you have the backup information.
Okay,
So that's, in my opinion, that's sufficient.
good enough. Okay.
yeah, so it is worded kind of vaguely, yeah.
Yeah.
Worded wrong.
Sounds like we're getting new canopies.
Yes.
Not a sprinkler system at the canopies. Okay, that being clear, all those in favor?
One quick question. On the amount, Andres,
Yes, sir.
86,000, how are you paying for this?
Fund balance for
$86,000.
facilities, well, actually, this comes out of the construction fund. We have enough money there. The project's already approved from there also.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item I, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval of the final completion of the resurfacing of the football field turf and running track at Bobby Lackey Stadium and related change orders. Dr. Canales.
Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, the next item, I don't have a handout to give you. I apologize. Somehow didn't print it to bring it. On this one, if I can elaborate on it, the project, the turf and the running track were supposed to be finished by July 31st. They got finished on September 7th. That was 38 days late. We sent them the contract for signature 20 days late. We sent it to them on June 20 because of some issue that we had going over with the contract. Some questions we had to finalize the contract. So we were asking the board to approve the completion and assess liquidated damages for 18 days for a total of $3,600. $200 per day, as stated in the contract. So we were asking the board to assess liquidated damages for $3,600 to be deducted for the final payment of the project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Patrick and a second by Isidoro to approve the final completion of the resurfacing of football field turf and running track at Bobby Lackey Stadium and related change orders. Is there any further discussion?
One quick question for both coaches. Are you okay with the turf in both areas, coaches? You're comfortable with it? Yes. It meets what we purchased.
Yeah, to this point, the surface has been a good surface, and being out there early with summer strength and conditioning, about 11 a.m., when it's starting to get a little bit hot, I think there's no question that in fall camp, and now that we're back on in the summer, you can tell a little difference with the cool play.
Okay.
Good.
So compared to the turf before, you see a big difference?
Yes, sir, absolutely. The whole technology has changed. The cool play has been has made a big difference. Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yes, cool.
Cool. Cool play.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item J, discussion and possible action for the board to consider, one, approval of administration's recommendation for the ranking of proposals received for the construction of the band hall addition at Weslaco East High School project, and two, to authorize administration to enter into negotiations and approve a contract for this project. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, a total of 6 proposals were received for this project. After reviewing the proposals, the ranking committee recommends that NM Contractors from McAllen, Texas be awarded this project. There is a chart for you to take a look at. The total price is $3,946,000, which is for the first ranked, which also was awarded the most points and 240 days to complete, and that was less than the second ranked item. So the superintendent, I'm recommending that the Board of Trustees approve the administration's ranking recommendation of the proposals received for the Band Hall Addition project at Weslaco East High School. This constitutes approval for administration to start negotiations with the contractor ranked number 1, NM Contracting LLC, located in McAllen, Texas, and to approve a contract.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Patrick and a second by Isidoro to approve administration recommendation on the ranking proposal received for the construction of the band hall at Weslaco East High School project. Do we need to name the contractor?
You can, but it's been presented already.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, because you're approving the ranking, so it's in that order that's.
Now, on the item number 2, Patrick and Isidoro, are you authorizing administration to enter negotiations and approve the contract for this project also?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this, their motion also authorizes administration to enter into negotiations and approve a contract for this project, CSP number 18-06-22. Is there any further discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Just want to make sure, I know they've come in really well on some of these contracts that they've been bidding. And, you know, I'm looking at the bid and I know what was proposed.
Yep.
You know, it's a lot of savings. I just want to make sure that the company will be able to finish on time, given that other projects that they've been awarded.
Yes, sir. Well,
Do
you'll
they have the
see,
staff, I guess?
yes, they do have the staff.
Okay, so they won't be pulling from one to go start another?
No, they've been hiring different superintendents for the project we have with them.
Okay.
Are they working on the field house right now at
Yes, sir.
Weslaco High School?
Uh-huh, yes.
How many
And
projects are they working?
This is going to
on
be
this?
the fourth project.
I think they got the parking lots,
Mhm.
right?
At Silva and Gonzalez and the Cape project.
And then the Cape,
Uh-huh.
and then the field house,
Yes, sir.
and then this one, if we approve.
Are the architects here?
Yes.
Oh.
Good afternoon, Dr. Canales, Mr. Lopez, and trustees. I'm Jerry Garcia with ERO, and with me is Jose Rios also from ERO.
Jerry, I guess if you could answer the same question that Mr.
I see the concern that Mr. Gonzalez has on the cost and the amount of work that he has now and the capacity that he has. We haven't actually vetted with the contractor yet. Right now, it's in the process of approving the offer with the number. So I guess you've approved it now, so now the next venture now is to start discussing with the contractor formally his practices, procedures, and make sure that everything's online so we can get you satisfied on what you're asking right there.
No,
as
I'm
well.
satisfied. I just want to make sure that they're
Yeah,
going to be able to do the
I
work
understand
and
your
complete
concern.
the jobs that
It's-
they already got. I think that bid that they came in, I mean, that's great. I know it's under
great
budget.
number.
It's a great number, and it allows us to use that money elsewhere since Andres says we need the money. So, again, it looks great. I just want to make sure that they're able to complete these jobs.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Good. That's all I got.
Well, having experience with construction here in the valley, yes, Andrew, I'm pretty sure and positive almost that they have the forces and manpower required, and they also have a bottom. So that covers that. Is there any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Thank you,
Jerry.
Mr. Garcia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number K, discussion and possible action for the board to consider approval to extend the contract with the audit firm Noel Garza CPA PC for one additional term to conduct the independent fiscal and compliance audit of the district for fiscal year ending August 31st, 2018, RFQ number 16-07-40, or authorize the administration to solicit proposals for same. Dr. Canales.
I move to extend the contract.
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion by Patrick and a second by Dr. Rivera to extend the contract with the audit firm Noel Garza CPA PC for one additional term to conduct the independent fiscal and compliance audit for the district for the fiscal year ending August 31st, 2018, RFQ 16-07-40. Is there any further discussion?
I just wanted to point out that it's the same price from 2016 to 2017, so no increase in the cost, and administration, according to this paper, says they like their work, so that's why I'm supporting it.
Okay.
They've been with us how many years, Andres?
Total about 9 years.
Yeah.
And then
I know
on
they
and
were,
off that
I know
done
they were
our-
here when I was here.
Yes, and then they left, somebody else came in and they came back again.
When was the last time that we bid it out, or what? Because I know.
2 years ago?
2 years.
We approved it with option to extend 2 years, so last year we extended. This will be the second extension.
How many?
And how long have they held the price? Since when?
2 years?
2 years
Yes.
they've held the price.
Yes, sir.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
3-3?
3-3. I'm gonna go to stay with the existing firm. And that's 4-3, so.
Right.
Motion passes. Item L. Discussion and possible action for the board to consider number 1, 1-year renewal of insurance consulting agreement with SWBC Life Insurance Agency Incorporated, or 2, terminate of insurance consulting agreement with SWBC Life Insurance Agency Incorporated and authorize superintendent to obtain interim insurance consulting services. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, you ranked this over a year ago. The contract ended on April 2018. We're month to month. We're paying about $4,125 to SWBC. We bring this to your attention for direction on either renewal or termination of the consulting agreement with SWBC, and authorize, since we have some items out for bid, if that is the case, the superintendent, me, to obtain interim insurance consulting services for items out to, that we're seeking proposals
I'll make a
for.
motion to terminate the insurance consulting agreement with the SWBC Life Insurance Agency and authorize superintendent to obtain interim insurance consulting services.
Second.
Was it Patrick or Andrew?
Me.
Andrew. Mr. Gonzalez.
Okay, we have a motion by Oscar and second by Andrew to terminate the insurance consultant agreement with SWBC Life Insurance Agency Incorporated and authorize superintendent to obtain interim insurance consulting services. Is there any further discussion?
Who's the agent right now? For SWBC? Who's doing the consulting?
We don't know.
They were chosen last year.
Yeah, but who are the players?
There's two individuals that are currently doing the work for us. The gentleman who was helped or assisted with the TPA was a gentleman named,
Is it Bruce Mackey?
Exactly.
Bruce Macy, and then the other gentleman is Xavier Guevara.
As I recall, Mike, and the reason I guess I'm made a motion to terminate, I know that last year there was a big confusion with the, I know an agenda item where they gave you some wrong information and, you know, we were kind of leaning on making a decision, but then at the end, it wasn't even true. It was in effect. Is that correct, I guess?
That's correct.
You know, and I remember that, and I know it kind of got the board, you know, all.
He misinterpreted a part of the proposal, and this was another consultant that was with SWBC that did give the board some wrong information, total insurable values, per occurrence limits versus in the aggregate limits. So he was under the impression that the sublimits was in the aggregate, and it wasn't. It was a per occurrence sublimit. So that was an issue. That was the issue that you're referring to.
Right.
Is that on the property insurance?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're paying how much right now?
It's about $4,100 a month, Dr. Rivera.
And I'm just curious, what is your recommendation?
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with what?
I'm okay with the termination and getting somebody else.
Andres?
I haven't really worked with them much.
Okay, okay.
Bruce Mackey.
And who would you appoint as the interim? Is there a name already? Does it come to the board, or are you going to select someone?
Well, for items under 25,000, since we have PBM out on proposal, and we're going to have the property insurance out for proposal, we would need some help in the interim. So we'd have to look for somebody, Dr. Rivera, up to 25,000. It's over 25,000,
No, I understand.
bring it to the board.
Would it come back to the board at the next meeting, your interim?
We hadn't, if it's under 25, we could
No,
bring that.
we keep it under 25,000 in the interim for these two projects, I don't see it going above 25,000, so,
I don't know
no.
how much it'll be, sir.
Because right now we're paying how much a year then? About close to 50,000, right?
It's,
4125
And
times.
and how many months do we actually use them? I mean, we only use them a couple of months out of the year, don't we?
they assisted with the TPA
Right.
RFP process, and then the subsequent RFPs that we had going down the
And I
road,
think-
voluntary products, and then.
If I remember correctly, we have the option of just hiring just as needed?
Needed,
As
yeah.
needed.
And that way we'll save some money there.
In this case, that we would hire as needed.
Right.
I'm okay.
49,500.
I'm okay with the motion.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item number 11, closed meetings to discuss A, personnel matters, Texas Government Code 551.074. Item 1 is employment of personnel. 2, resignations. 3, deliberation regarding the appointment, employment evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Texas Government Code 551.074 and 551.071. B, deliberation regarding acquisition of real property, Texas Government Code 551.072. C, consultation with attorneys regarding a pending or contemplated litigation, a settlement offer, or C, a matter in which the duty of the attorney of the Weslaco Independent School District under Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code 551.071. The time is now 8:21, and this board is going into closed session. Time is 9:27, and we are back from closed session. Items discussed during closed session were A, personnel matters, Texas Government Code 551.074. Item number 1 would be employment of personnel. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, I recommend that you approve the recommendations of contracts for certified professional personnel as discussed in closed session.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Patrick and a second by Oscar. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item number 2 is resignation. That's a non-action item. Item number 3, deliberation regarding the appointment, employment evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, Texas Government Code 551.074 and 551.071. The sub-item under that, no, that's it. Okay, is that a non-action item, Ivan?
On the deliberation?
Yeah. Okay, non-action item. Then we have item B, deliberation regarding acquisition of real property, Texas Government Code 551.072.
I move to approve to authorize legal counsel to proceed as discussed in executive session.
Second.
A motion by Patrick and a second by Andrew Gonzalez to authorize administration to proceed as instructed in closed session. Legal counsel. Okay, is there legal counsel to proceed as discussed in closed session? Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item C, consultation with attorney regarding A, a pending contemplated litigation, B, a settlement offer, or C, a matter in which the duty of the attorney of Weslaco ISD under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code 551.071. Non-action item. Item number 12 is, well, no, that's it. Item number 13 is adjournment.
So moved.
Time is 9:29. This meeting is closed.